I'm Chris Simpson from Mineral, and this is my favorite record. Probably the record I've spent the most time listening to of all the records I've listened to. I think I discovered it when I was maybe in my late 20s, and just finding out that he was only 19 when he made it, and to me it's just such a mysterious, sort of brave record by a young person that's just very free and exploratory feeling, like he feels so soulful and just intense, like the vocals are so intense and they're so unique the way he phrases things, like it doesn't ever fall in like a recognizable pattern, the way he sings, and many of the songs are very simple, just like two or three chords that kind of repeat, but he has all these jazz musicians around him sort of adding these sort of atmospheric elements to what he's doing, and really trying to keep up with him, because he just comes across as someone like possessed, by some spirit of some sort. The way he sings and the way these songs come across on the record, I don't know, it's wonderful. I just, ever since I've heard it, I still feel like there's more to discover in it, as I keep listening to it, because it's not, like later he became, famous for kind of like FM radio hits, and they were all very like concise, like sort of R&B songs, which I like that stuff of his as well quite a bit, but something about this record, it just seems like a documentation of an era where someone is young and just kind of on fire creatively, and like there are no boundaries, and there aren't really even proper drums on most of the tracks, so it doesn't feel at all like a sort of standard pop or rock record. It just feels like just very free and exploratory, and Lester Bangs, a famous rock critic in the US, sort of refers to it as like a mystical document, like of one man's sort of poetic vision of the world, and it's kind of a horrifying vision in a lot of ways, It's very intense, but I don't know, I can listen to it forever. I can talk about it for 5 hours. To me, it's just like, it stands out from his other records in that it's so unstructured, its vibe is very jazz and ethereal, and sort of the songs ramble on. They're very simple songs, a couple of chords, but they go on, and what makes the dynamics of the song is sort of like his singing and the way these other sort of improvised musicians are sort of backing him, or whereas a lot of his other records are a bit more straightforward, like songs, like more straightforward song structure, and he's also very, very good at that. But this to me feels like his very experimental, he's done a lot of different things over the years. I had a lot of different eras, and definitely he has continued to sort of experiment with different sounds, but to me this one is the best, because I like something about how young he was when he made it, and I don't know, I know what it's like to feel sort of on fire as a young person, like you have this creative expression you need to put into the world, and you really have no choice but to put it out there, or but to sort of try and, communicate your vision, Yeah, I had heard some other Van Morrison stuff, and I really liked the more popular stuff of his that I had heard, but I was just starting in my late 20s to really explore like the catalogs of people who I liked, and particularly Van Morrison. I've always just loved something about his voice, so I was going back through with a lot of different artists and bands that I was discovering, and like listening to, like thinking about like where did they start, what was their first record, or where did they come from, what band were they in before, and came across this record, and it's just so, I don't know, it's a gift, great records are a gift, because for him, it probably doesn't feel any different than any other record he made, you know, but something about it, you know, just kind of connects with me, and some very very beautiful singing and lyrics, and so expressive, you know, like not really like he's alone in the world and just doing it for himself, you know. I don't know. On this record there's a song called Sweet Thing that I think is probably one of the best love songs ever. I don't know, there's so many great lyrics on this record. Now I will have trouble thinking of them, of course, but the lyrics to Sweet Thing are so wonderful. And I will stroll the merry way and jump the hedges first, and I will drink the clear, clean water for to quench my thirst. There's a line where he says something about, and I will take you in my arms, and I may well not remember that I ever felt the pain. I don't know. I'm sure there's more. I have to think of them now. There's a song called Madame George where he talks about how there's a line about and all the little boys come around walking away from it all. And there's something about that line, like he's describing a scene at like a party or something, and just says, and all the little boys come around walking away from it all. Like, love this line, you know. For sure, yeah. I mean, I didn't discover it, you know, and I didn't know it in the Mineral days, or even maybe later in the Glory record days. I started to discover it, but yeah, it's definitely influenced my work with Zookeeper, and sort of like an idea of what I what I wanted to do with my new project, you know, was just to do something a bit more autonomous, less like a democratic band, you know, something where I sort of direct what is happening entirely, you know, and like he did on this record, I think I was initially interested in incorporating a lot of other musicians, but in a more spontaneous, like impromptu manner, as opposed to a bunch of people who have written parts that are sorted and are played the same way every time, you know. So I definitely picked up some of that kind of looseness or chaos, you know. Yeah, I like really simple songs and sort of yearning singing. It was okay, you know, it was very recently, so he almost seems to be on autopilot, you know, like he continues to tour and put out records, and he's very much, I think, views himself as sort of a craftsman, continues to work at his craft, but I feel the moments of like real inspiration that come from some of his recordings like doesn't come across live. It certainly has. I've seen a lot of old footage of him playing when he was younger that I feel like has that same sort of energy, but now it feels very professional, you know, in a very professional band. It was worth it to see him for sure, just to know that I was watching him sing in the same building as him, but it wasn't what I get out of the records, you know. I do, for sure, yeah. I have this record on vinyl and was so excited when I found it after many years. And now, of course, everything has been reissued, you know, but I'm not opposed to buying reissued records because mainly I just care about being able to listen to it, you know. But it is nice when you find an older one, you know. I'm not the sort of vinyl collector who worries much about like first pressing or like whatnot, you know. I have a lot of friends who are. To me, I don't care like how good the copy is, like if it's listenable, you know, and I can put it on and listen to it. Like I kind of often love it when the covers are a bit old and show some wear, you know. I love imagining like how many hands have had this actual record have held this actual record, or how many different stereo systems it's been listened to on, you know.